is up, guys? PoliticsGaming here, and today we're doing a brand new episode of the Commonwealth. What is up, guys? PoliticsGaming here, and today we're doing a brand new episode of the Commonwealth of Australia. So the reason why I have held off on a new episode is mainly because there was a bug that persisted with the tourism feature of the 2025 edition. So this will both be my introduction series to the 2025 edition, and as well a return to what I originally wanted to get started. I actually had Pericles basically tell me, like, hey, like, are you going to be using the tourism option a lot in your series? And I told him, yeah, like, that was one of the main reasons I thought it would be cool to do Australia. So they had to change some aspects of how tourism worked in the game. So now the calculations on how tourism grows is changed, so we shouldn't, because basically I actually had a game where as Greece where I had like a $30 billion industry as Greece with tourism, and it actually slumped down to about about $5 to $7 billion. So it was kind of weird, but we are back and we are going to go ahead and get this show on the road. So we do start 2025 off with an election. So that's what this episode will be focused on here. And we're going to be getting to the end of this federal election. The primaries have just begun, Prime Minister. These internal campaigns in the political parties will enable us to have the official candidates who will run for the elections in 123 days. And your popularity level among our members is excellent. This is no time to beat around the bush. You should present yourself as a candidate, Prime Minister. Do you wish to present yourself as a candidate for the Australian Social Front, Prime Minister? You are not obligated to do it now, and I will ask you to do it later if you refuse. I'll go ahead and accept it. We're going to go ahead and throw our hat into the ring for this new federal election. We do start off the 2025 edition with some... new features, so this is going to be new U.S. foreign policy. Let's go ahead and take a listen.
The new president in the White House is keeping his campaign promises and has hit the ground running at the start of his term. The numerous executive orders and unexpected political positions are disrupting the world order and shaking up the arena of international relations. The decision to impose widespread tariffs on all products and for all countries, with surcharges on steel and aluminum, is causing great uncertainty in economic markets.
And so, unfortunately, due to the new U.S. presidency, we will be dealing with tariffs against our country. I know as soon as President Trump actually came into office, there were widespread tariffs all across the world, including, they called it Liberation Day. So we do have tariffs that go against Japan, South Korea, especially China, and as well as Australia. So we do see, we may see tariffs that are being set against us. However, we do have reciprocal tariffs in mind in case that is what happens. But we do have the plan of setting tariffs against the United States for certain products, mostly as a protectionist measure. We're not going to be as aggressive as the United States is. We're going to be very selective with our protectionist policies while we develop our economy. So let's go ahead and go over here. We're going to have to, we do have a budget surplus, so we don't have to worry about trying to balance the budget, but we can use some of that surplus in order to develop the economy, and as well, we need to focus on getting our popularity up. During an election, we have to focus on our popularity because that is going to be the biggest factor whenever it comes to how much we are basically kind of like running with. In the GPS 5, we actually can go ahead and subsidize our entire agricultural sector. We're going to do this. We're going to give a flat... How much can we play with here? 742, 719. We could actually give a $10 billion subsidy to the entire agricultural sector. So that would put us at a $10 billion surplus. while growing the economy. We're going to go ahead and do this only for domestic industries. Subsidies would support and encourage the development of an industry, resulting in revenue and jobs. It would also advance research specifically tied to this sector, leading to new discoveries, followed by commercialization of technologies and new products. Subsidies are distributed between sector companies in proportion to their respective revenue. Subsidizing or exempting an activity sector has evolved effects. Companies receiving financial aid would be more sustainable. They would also tend to hire more and reduce their sales prices to be more competitive. Lower sales prices could allow a gain in market shares, but would also potentially stagnate or reduce the GDP of the sector or the trade balance. Such an action by the head of state does not provide immediate profitability, but is rather an investment in a strategic sector or in the future. In the specific case of a closed activity sector in a country, exemptions would have no effect, but subsidizing would promote the opening of the sector. However, there would be no guarantee of significant or sustainable development depending on the situation. Let's kind of like hold it back a little bit. Let's give it $8.5 billion subsidy to the entire sector only for our domestic industries, and then we're going to go ahead and see what goes on there. So we do have a 0.47% excess. We should get a huge boost in popularity there. I really hope so. And yes, we do get a provisional boost in popularity. And I guess we'll go ahead and give an additional $1.5 billion here. And we're going to hit them with a $10 billion subsidy. We should see that effect on the budget. Yes, okay, we see we get it up to 100%, so that is what we need. So let's go ahead and we are running again. Go over to farming. What we want to do is that I want to take those subsidies away from tobacco. We only gave $1 million to tobacco. We only have one company, which is our various companies in the sector, which basically means there's no actual like company. Sectors, we have activities, we have beef, cannabis, we have carbohydrates, cereals, cocaine. We have a cocaine sector. We have colza, we have cotton, we have dairy products, fishing, food industry, bananas. Where's our food industry? Corner Foods. Is this Croker? No. Could be like some type of Australian company. Let's hit energy. Let's focus on energy. So energy is actually pretty confusing in the game now because it looks like that we have to focus on our production capacity. So production capacity plus our import-export balance. If this was negative, then we would actually be selling electricity. If it's positive, then we are importing electricity. So this means that we are importing electricity from other countries. We do not have a surplus as of right now, but however, if we do the math, then our production is actually it's about 549, so let's say 550. And then our demand is 520. So we have about a 30 terawatts lead here. We can go ahead and focus on things like offshore wind and especially wind. I think until we are able to necessarily afford nuclear power plants, especially fusion power, then we're going to focus mostly on wind power, wind and solar power. I wouldn't even say solar. I feel like that wind would be such like a important industry that we probably won't even be able to focus on nuclear because we're going to be investing so much into wind. Tourism is going to be a huge focus of this series, so we're going to go ahead and come over here. We're going to hit the tourism industry. How many companies do we have operating? We have one. We have Ador, which is a private company, which they're a subsidiary of a French company. We have Attraction Parks. We have Royal Zoological Consortium, which was founded in 1983, and we have 153 employees here. Let's go ahead and go to all activities and give them, let's say, a $2.5 billion subsidy throughout the entire sector. And then we are going to go over to... we're going to go to Grand Library. We have a large national park. Let's go ahead and invest into a national park. Where do we want to throw this national park? We're going to go ahead and throw it over onto this lake, and then this will basically create a national park within a certain zone. What that actually does is that this zone right here protects this entire piece of land from any development. So if you wanted to build a road through here or develop oil, then you cannot do that unless it is dismantled. So we're going to go ahead and hold off on naming that for right now. I know some people are going to be able to tell me exactly what that is. We have the Ulu in Central Australia, which is marked as a national park, so we cannot develop anything around there. We do have some infrastructure that we could develop. Australia is actually pretty developed whenever it comes to infrastructure, so we probably might have some trouble like justifying the expense. I feel like what we could do is that we could develop a huge, like very expensive, what do you call it, train system that we could connect from Brisbane all the way down to Canberra, all the way down to Melbourne, and then Melbourne would obviously be able to connect all the way over to Perth. That would be a very long train ride, but because it is high-speed rail, it would be very convenient for our citizens to be able to get from Melbourne and Sydney all the way over to Perth without even having to get in a car and doing it in the comfort of a train, of a very high-speed train.
I would like to make a small point with you concerning the development of tourism. Our country is one of the most attractive in the world. That's great, but we should try to increase our prospects even more. Tourism is increasingly becoming an important economic sector in the world.
And then let's go ahead and check out some of our metrics here. So we do have a number of international tourists compared to the rest of the West, basically. We have France at 100 million, Slovakia at 6.24, New Zealand at 2.47, Canada at 20 million, and then Australia, us, at 6.15 million. We do have a little pie chart here that we can look at, but we do have the rankings here. So we have 100. So we're actually playing this in local currency. So $1 is going to equate to about 62 cents on the Australian dollar, and then we're going to be focusing on reducing our imports, which I believe that means that we would have to increase our interest rates. We're going to be increasing our interest rates, making it a little bit more expensive to borrow money, but it would be good for our national economy. That way, kind of slows growth down a little bit, just a little bit, but it would also make sure that our currency is going to increase in value because we're restricting the supply of it. So it's kind of like simple, like a supply demand type of thing. We have $130 billion coming into the domestic economy, national economy, through tourism, and we are focusing on increasing that. I would say $500 billion could be what we're looking for. Let's create an international event just to make this some type of worthwhile venture. And I actually figured out that investing, somewhere around a couple $1 million into a festival or event, that actually won't even cut it. So in order to make it worthwhile, we have to invest hundreds of millions of dollars, not billions, into our type of festivals. So let's go ahead and we're going to do this in Brisbane, Newcastle, Melbourne. Let's do a $300 million festival, and this is going to be an international exhibition. Let's actually do this at $500 million. Then we're going to hit it for 20th of, let's say, August. 20th of August. Maybe something in August, September. Yeah, let's do something in September. September 25th. Yep, we're going to go ahead and hit him with that. And we're going to do a $500 million subsidy to that event just to make sure that we're able to get it what it needs. What about Grand Library? $2.2 billion. Let's go ahead and hold off on that for now. We're not going to be spending too much. That way we don't upset the voters. So we have to just focus on the election now. So you're gonna see some time skips. If anything major happens, obviously I will come back for it and kind of discuss it, review over it. But we are going to be focusing on the election. We're going to go ahead and get down to the campaign, which happens at about 65 to 60 days from the election. We will also be making some side bets here, and then we're going to be increasing our net worth during this whole gameplay, and then building at least one property and buying some little items, here and there. So we are going to be making some investments in the meantime. All right, and we are back. So we're going to be doing some jump cuts every so often. We are about to hit the campaign trail. So definitely we are in for a good episode today. So we're at 100% popularity. We're going to have to start defining our political strategy. I believe most of the time I usually save. I kind of do like bits and pieces. We don't want to make too many campaign promises, and a lot of times whenever I do play, I kind of overload myself with campaign promises, more so to gain the popularity. Apparently, in the game, it's actually a downside if you don't abide by the campaign, because the people will basically remember it. If there's even one little type of promise that you didn't make, it'll actually hurt your campaign, your popularity during the next campaign. So we're definitely gonna have to, I'm gonna say, keep it to less than 10. If we need to make a coalition, we may have to do that. I'm gonna wait until the first poll drops before we really start to define our campaign, because I want to more so see a baseline for like where we're at. So we're gonna have to meet with characters. We're gonna have to meet with our donors, and then more. So we have a couple of news things here. We have a new COP. We have Australia is attracting fewer investors. We have fallen 1 places in worldwide ranking of economic attractivity. We are now at number 4, so we were number 3. It looks like that we are attracting less investors, which I'll go into more detail about economic attractiveness in the next episode, since this is going to be a campaign-focused episode. We have Angela Merkel somehow still a part of the German government. We have the election campaign. The election campaign is officially begun. I'm wondering why he's not talking to me. Campaign promises to yourself for the moment. Keeping most of your most popular campaign promises to yourself moment. Then you can unveil them during the televised debate. So let's go ahead and go over here. We're going to have to filter it by popularity. And like I said, we're going to wait for the first poll to drop just to kind of see where our baseline is. Unemployment is 4.2%. We have GDP going up of $2.9 trillion. And our budget excess is 0.39. So we do have a budget surplus going into this election. We do have the first campaign poll that has come out with 26% of the vote intention. That is very low, and that means that we may have to form a political coalition in order to survive this election. We do have 26.4 to 25%. The Conservatives have a huge margin here. We have a lot of smaller parties that are really trying to take the bite out of this. And if we do get less than 50% of the electoral votes, then that means that we would have to form a coalition. Sometimes you can play as a minority hung parliament government, but in this case, we do have a head of state, which would force us to form a coalition. So, I mean, we could actually wait until the election, because I'm pretty sure I could at least get away with a plurality of the votes, and then hopefully I can make it to I can actually get 50%. If not, I mean, I could wait until I can see who has what at the end of the day. I could actually get James Bisham. Gets the communists to drop out. Highly doubt that that's going to be possible right now. I could probably more so start focusing on people. So we're going to get associations. Let's get animal friends. I think we're going to actually start focusing on the people. Getting just people and billionaires. I'm gonna have to check our campaign finance laws too, just to see where we're at. Party and Power, Australia Social Front. We're gonna meet with him, get him to scream our name out the top of his lungs. We're gonna get these famous people to do the same. Artists. I guess the first half is going to be meeting with people to get them to support us, and then on the other half is going to be getting like actual campaign promises out there. I think that's going to be our good strategy. Classical dancer, popular humorist, satirical humorist, popular filmmaker. Alright, so basically what we did is that we focused on getting some people to support us and just drawing out some votes from them. So we have people that will endorse us publicly and as well will come out to vote for us. So in the manual of GPS 5, what it actually says is that the like about 50% of the vote is actually from all of the characters, all of the key characters in the game. The other 50% actually comes from the actual people, from the people of the country that you're playing as. So there's like this like special balance that you have between the characters in the game and as well as the people in your country. So if you actually believe that you're focusing solely on the electoral vote, the people in the country, no, you're actually focusing 50% on them. Let's go over here and then look. So we do have unlimited funding, so we can reach out to billionaires in order to get some funds from them. We're going to do a campaign fundraiser. And as well, we don't have the ability to finance our party. I mean, we can, but I just don't want to waste our net worth on a possible lost cause. And plus, I just don't have the money for it. If I had a net worth of a couple $100 million, I'd spare $25-50 million on it. But apparently, it also says that I have to do it as a campaign promise, which is kind of weird. Pretty sure, yeah, that's honestly definitely a bug. What do we have? So we do again have the option for, I think within the last 25 days, I'm gonna start thinking about a coalition if we're not getting to where I need to be, once we actually see what left-wing parties we can work with. We're gonna go a couple of days now. We do have a rather developing concerning illegal immigration situation that we have to take care of once the campaign is over. I seriously hope that we don't have to deal with a coalition, because that just makes it kind of fragile, especially whenever it comes to more right-wing type of policies that we have to handle. If we have 50% of the actual legislature, then we don't have to worry about, of coalition fracturing potentially. So we don't this the last thing I want to have to take care of is going to be a balancing act about the coalition. But it would actually make for some rather interesting story elements to this gameplay. Let's go to political parties, go to political criticize, and then we're gonna support ourselves. I commend Australia's social friends undeniable influence. Then we're gonna hit with the Conservatives. We're gonna hit them. It's going up completely outside its mandate. It's trying to destabilize the country. And then 113,000 likes. And then we're gonna hit the extreme right as well, because they are actually campaigning, number one, right now. So let's go ahead and do the same thing to the extreme right. We're going to kind of like let the left-wing parties, leave the left-wing parties alone a little bit, but we're going to support ourselves and then denounce the right wing. We have a new poll that just came out, fresh off the presses. We do have 25% to 21%. So we are increasing our share. However, we are still having issues trying to garner support. So we have to start doing some campaign promises. We do have the option of going to a coalition. This is about 40%. We'd still be short with it, so we'd actually have to coalition possibly with the centrists, I believe. Might not be a thing. We're gonna have to really figure something out here, so we're gonna try to see if they can drop out and then just endorse us.
You're not. I'm sorry.
Yeah, getting the centrists to drop out just would not be something that would be possible. Probably during the last stretch of the election. Normally that's whenever you can really start to get people to drop out, but right now we're probably not going to be able to get that to happen. Freedom of information, freedom of expression, internet censorship, none. Construction. Let's go ahead and promise some more. Let's do 25%. 30%. 30% across the entire country. Let's do this in the capital region. And then let's go to elections. Let's go to campaign. Candidates. Where are we at right here? So don't tell me that actually got us negative. Yeah, that got us negative. Let's go over to tax. Let's go to... what can we do? Lower the gas tax. It's already starting to become more expensive. Wealth tax could be a thing. Plastic packaging, carbon tax. I feel like a carbon tax would be more popular. Legislation, regular and repressive. What about miscellaneous financial losses? $230 billion. Wow. What do we have? Higher minimum wage is always really good. So let's go ahead and hit that for $4,500. Then that's going to be gross pay, so that'll cost about $1 billion. Usually you want to hold off for the last stretch of the campaign to do this one, but I'm going to go ahead and do it now. Hit that. Let's do that on Saturday the 22nd. Let's go back to elections, go here, and then that puts us to a positive 13. So that is good because that is helping our campaign, but we are still going to be very short.
You have put together a good...
But they're saying that apparently I'm putting together a good electoral program. So, what else do we have? Parliament. So let's go over here. All right, so we're going to come back over here. We have about less than just over a month from the election now. So we're going to go ahead and start doing some manpower promises here. We're going to go to... We got more money in the budget now, so we have $29 million. Norfolk Island. Let's do New South Wales. Performance Hall. And let's do Monday. And then what was that? Hang on. Elections. Program. So we have medical staff. Okay. So that one actually went through. And then mostly public opinion is on our side. Party opinion is kind of about in the middle. Post a tweet about candidates. Let's go over here. I'm thinking about changing, at least in the next administration, assuming that I win, I will actually be increasing the election threshold. I'll either be changing the threshold or I will actually be changing the system of election to a majority system. Because basically it makes it almost impossible to not do it without a coalition. So I will probably be changing it. I'll say this, should I be increasing the electoral threshold here, or should I actually go to the majority system? Go ahead and leave a comment down below what you guys think I should do for the future of Australia, or should I leave it the same? Okay, and let's go over here. We have Easter.
The prep.
Click accept. Russia has abandoned their Uranus mission. Fundraising $19 million. Specific criminalization on street harassment. It's going to be an easy one. Let's go over to Northern Territory, Queensland, and then do that on Wednesday. Abortion. Not going to mess with that. Contraception. Authorize at will. Could be something. Sex of violence funding. We need something that's like able to get us like where we need to be. So, wow. Establish the duration of average work week, 48 hours. So actually, some interesting things about this. So establishing the duration of the average work week, if you actually lower this, and I tried to do it by about 10 hours one time, as Greece from it was like 40 hours to 30 hours, my GDP dropped, and it like dropped a significant amount. So whenever you do mess with the average work week, do keep in mind that your productivity will go down immediately, and then that means that your GDP will go down as well. So it kind of like induces like this small recession that you'll kind of go through, but it's not like the worst thing, but it does kind of like mess up your budget. Legislation in terms of monthly rent, monthly salaries. Let's go ahead and go for, let's do $100. $100 for low salaries for a monthly rent allowance. Let's go ahead and do this in New South Wales. Do that in a performance hall. And then we're going to have to meet up with the billionaire real quick just to make sure that we're able to continue to fund our campaign. 33 popularity here. We're going to propose some minor tax changes very soon. Consortium CEO, billionaires. Let's meet up with this guy, $105 billion net worth. Yeah, let's go ahead and meet up with him there. We could also meet with our company heads. They should be able to fund us as well, but we're gonna wait. So let's go ahead and go to Tuesday. It should be evaluation program, and then so next day, let's go over here, and issuance of $22.5 billion worth of debt. Let's go ahead and get our money from our billionaire, our local billionaire. And highly view public, support you at the next elections, ask to fund the party. Yep. So let's go ahead and go over here. I do like the change that they actually went for in this, where it's a, like, instead of, a left-wing billionaire or right-wing billionaire, you have literally billionaires from, like, all these different kinds of companies in your country. So it's actually it makes a lot of sense. I think you should be able to also meet with, your like a local, like your actual, like the people that are running companies inside of Australia. I think you should be able to meet with them, and then they can actually fund your party as well. Well, let's meet with her just to see if the option's there. I think the option's there. I might be mistaken. Let's go to the next day, when 29 days. We have a month from the election. We're gonna go ahead and skip forward a little bit, just doing some minor tweaks here and there, and I'll tell you guys what I'm doing. Meeting, and yep, finance the party. Yeah, okay, so not only can the billionaires fund your party, but you can also receive party funding from the companies themselves, as well as their CEOs. So very, very, very interesting. $2.5 million from the billionaire.
Great.
That's a very low amount compared to his net worth. I was hoping for a lot more, but money's money. I won't throw a fit over that. Criticize the party. Let's go ahead and say that we are the greatest thing that has ever happened in Australia. And then we're going to say that the Conservatives are big poopy heads. Going outside its mandates. And same thing to all the other parties. Oh, okay. Alright, should we make a coalition with them? Really kind of thinking about it. I'm not too sure yet. Let's continue on.
Obliged.
Oh my god, we actually got them to drop out. Dude, they were running like 15 to 20% in the polls and they just dropped out like that, really? Dude, okay, that's a huge political shift here. Okay, I think we're gonna be good. We're still gonna have to really hammer down the campaign, but that is a huge momentum shift here. Oh, dang it. Oh, no. I kind of messed up. I need him. Bro. So we can at least meet with him next week. Wednesday. Okay, I need to meet with him just to make sure that to encourage him to get people to vote for us. How corruptible is he? How corruptible is he? He's like barely corruptible. Accept the ministry. Okay. So we're in the last week of the election. So we are now at 29 to 21. So there's a possibility either A, we're not going to be able to form a coalition, or B, we may have to run the election again. Because if you're not able to get an election, like a coalition, after like 30 days, once the election is over and there's still no majority, you will have to do the election again. So I'm really hoping that is not going to be the case here, and that at least we'll get away from get away with the election during the debate. So that is what's coming up now. We are now a couple of days from the election, and let's go ahead and see how this debate goes.
Good evening. The highly anticipated debate will begin in a few moments' time. The candidates are ready. Naturally, we will ensure that they are given equal speaking time. This will be closely monitored. We have also set up a new instant polling system. So,
all right, so research, let's go ahead and say that we need more people working in the industry. So let's go ahead and say we're going to max this out at about 50,000 workers here. And, okay, maybe that's too expensive. Let's say 1.12.
Research is our economy's
Thank you. And moving on.
Research
really?
Is our economy's last hope.
Why does no one like aeronautic research?
Let's move on to another issue.
Immigration.
So,
okay.
Migrants should
very well. Coming over to you.
Okay, so let's go ahead and say legislation. Family unification, just solely. Regularization. Carry out regularization here. Integration policy. I mean, we could say consider it a moderate.
Migrants must, in no case,
put us like
be
right on the
treated
line
as
with her.
Scapegoats.
Thank you. It's now time.
Well, I would like some clarity.
Oh yeah, thanks. This is like the exact question that I would have loved to take. Let's go ahead and say that we're going to promise a $2,500 minimum retirement pension. That's going to cost the state about $7.7 billion, but that is what we want. Well, okay, let's say that's too much, And we're going to do that at 2,400. So that's going to be 3.92, about $4 billion.
Life expectancy
And that
is
gets our
increasing.
popularity
Society is evolving,
way
and our
up.
senior citizens are naturally.
And let's hit her with the question of what she will do with energy.
I would like to hear you talk about.
The development of fossil fuels is the clear medium-term solution to safeguarding our energy needs, because it will be a long time before renewable energies reach an efficient level of production. I will remain focused.
Thank you. We are now.
Oh, god damn it.
You are well aware of my deep commitment to individual and collective.
Okay, so we're gonna hit them something that'll hurt. Monthly rent allowance, state aid. We could do index-linked rent increases. We could build more houses. Family allowances. Let's increase the family allowance to $1,000. Let's do $1,100.
The familial
No!
structure is the heart of our.
Thank you once again to both of you.
It's probably because
Our
of the
instant
cost. That's why
polling
everyone.
system. Good evening.
That is probably why. So 55%. So that's just barely a loss in the TV debate. I am very concerned right now. So really, really, really hope that this is not gonna go the way we don't want it to go. So we're possibly gonna have to focus on a coalition.
Good evening.
On this day of victory, our party was able to impose its vision.
Yeah, just barely a win. So yeah, we're gonna have to focus on a coalition here, and let's go ahead and wait for that message telling us that we have to form a coalition. And we're gonna have to figure out who we will form a coalition with. That is gonna be the challenge here. Possibly could have just let the environmentalists win, because that probably would have been an easy coalition. And so call for the formation of a coalition government. You do not hold a majority in parliament to lead the country with confidence. Basically, it would be preferable to build a coalition, even though it's not required. You must remember that the slightest misstep could censure your. Okay, so it's actually not required. So we can actually operate under a hung parliament. Could not make any type of agreement yet. So because we don't have to make the coalition, if it becomes necessary, then we will go ahead and go that route. But for now, we're going to go ahead and just operate on our own, since we do have just barely, by like 5 points, the majority here. And then once we kind of get into a position, I'm going to dissolve parliament, and then we're going to call for new elections. So as King Charles III did say, we don't need a coalition, so we're going to just go ahead and continue our administration, just hoping that we don't have any political issues. I'm definitely certain that we can work with the conservatives and as well as the centrists in order to get business done as Australia. Now, I've been going on this recording for about an hour and a half, so this was a long enough episode already. I'm going to cut it down to size whenever I do edit it, so you may see a lot of cuts here and there. But I've been recording long enough, so I am going to go ahead and call it here. If you guys like this episode, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you guys want to see more content like this, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss anything whenever I do make it. I do have some preview videos that are coming out very soon about other games, so definitely look forward to those. Some previews for new games and with developers that I've been talking to. So I'm very excited to preview those for the upcoming weeks. So other than that, guys, we're, definitely look forward to the next episode. We're going to be focusing a lot on energy development as well as both increasing our excess and spending a bunch of money because we want to make sure that we are going to be able to develop our economy. We're also going to be going into detail about the new economic attractiveness feature, which I was not able to go into detail about today, but I will be going into detail about it in the next episode. So it's going to be a huge economy episode from now on. So we're definitely going to be seeing what kind of business we can get done, signing some trade contracts, and more. So other than that, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. So if you guys want to see more content like this, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss anything whenever I do make it to the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you guys so much for watching this with me, and take care.